How firm a foundation, ye saints of the Lord. Ebenezer has been worshiping God here at 4th and D Southeast since 1838, when Capitol Hill looked like this. It seems white Ebenezer grew tired of our ancestors, shouting and dancing, feared one of us would fall out of the balcony where they made us sit and drop down and kill one of them. So our ancestors were invited to leave, and we opened what we called Little Ebenezer.
Well, first of all, I'm just so thankful to be here. I worked on the 150th anniversary, and I feel so blessed that I'm here to work on this anniversary. I don't think I'll be here for the 200th, but I am glad that I've come this far.
If a generation is every 22 years, we've had about 8 generations come through this church. Some of the early members were slaves, and some were free blacks who were part of the Underground Railroad, which is why some historians think Little Ebenezer was a station. One Thomas Smallwood, a member of Ebenezer who had worked at the Navy Yard, smuggled so many people from D.C. to Canada that the D.C. police were onto him and he had to stay out of town from 1843 until after the Civil War.
So much as the church was the site of the first black school.
That is a source of pride to Ebenezer. The first D.C. public school for black children opened in Ebenezer near the end of the war in 1864. It was eventually moved to its own building and was named Lincoln School.
And for a while I attended Lincoln School, which was Lincoln closed, and all of us, after it was closed, I guess when I was maybe a 3rd grade or so, it closed, and then we started going to Giddings.
The photo displays of the church tell so many stories, like this one from 1914, the burning of the mortgage 17 years after the current building, Ebenezer's 3rd, was completed. The one before that had replaced Little Ebenezer had been destroyed by a storm. The items and images, sounds bring back so many memories.
That's what she loved. Then we had Sunday school teachers. Evelyn Smith was one that the children, every time they saw her, they would sit up straight and don't say a word. When Evelyn came in and she looked your way, you better be quiet.
Garnet Hammond, an Ashbury member, recalls being invited to Ebenezer and meeting his late wife, Lois. He still has the pictures of the result.
A year later, we were married by John Henry Peters, June the 7th, 1951, and that was the most glorious day in my life, and still is. He said, what God put together, not man put asunder. I agree.
So, there were many great reverends in the past, the group that included John Griffin in the 1800s, William Dean during World War I, the group that included the Reverend Fairfax King in the 30s and 40s, or the Reverend Richard Johnson in the 50s and 60s. We spoke with 2 of our oldest members about the Ebenezer that they joined. Herbert Hoover was president when 106-year-old Carletha West joined in 1931, 87 years ago.
Well, for one thing, my relatives live nearby, and I don't know exactly. I just like I was close there. I could walk there, and I could go to church nights or evenings because I didn't have that far to walk from where I live. So I just liked it, and I enjoyed the people. I had a lot of friends there. So I loved it. All those years I was happy.
Our Blanche Jones, 99 years old this year, who used to work for Admiral Hyman Rickover in the Navy, joined this church in 1946, 72 years ago.
They decided to have women on the board of trustees. Somebody nominated me, and I got the job.
Were you the first woman trustee at Ebenezer?
That's right, the first woman on the board of trustees. But they worked me to death. I had a little job as a supervisor by that time, and the girls were nice. They typed everything I asked them to type, and whenever there was a meeting, I had a copy of everything for the trustees, and I got along fine. Even with the wives, they helped anything. Even if we had a little fundraiser, they would send dishes, and we had a good time.
And at 99, she still wants the church to know that she's a cougar.
Seems to be a cougar after you get 99 years old.
You're a 99-year-old cougar, huh?
Sure.
One of the things that we're really working on and really striving to do here at Ebenezer is to resurrect the dream, to resurrect the hope, to continue to expand vision. One of the ways that we're doing that is artistically.
Many activities at our Ebenezer, from jazz to go-go. A service with our sister churches, Capitol Hill and Redemption Hill, against racism.
First kidney had come from her brother, but that rejected. But the organ that stuck, the organ that stayed with her, the organ that allows her, Lord Jesus, the son of a Methodist pastor, to go to the casinos all over was a kidney that she received from a 23-year-old Caucasian male who died to give my mother new life. We didn't ask this Caucasian gentleman who gave up his life if he was gay. We didn't ask him. We didn't ask him if he was a Republican. We didn't ask him had he been faithful to his girlfriend or to his wife. That didn't matter. Because he gave my mother new life. You see, Pastor Elisa, that's what Jesus did. 2,000 years ago, he gave me a new heart so I could love right. He gave me a new tongue so I could talk right. He gave me new hands so I could serve right. Is there anybody in Ebenezer, Capitol Hill, or Redemption Hill that knows this Jesus? The one that will give you a new life. One who will give you a new heart. One who will give you new vision. One that will give you new feet. If you know this.
Friends, we are expanding outreach. We're doing everything that we know how to do in order to engage with our community.
Lord, I need you in my life. I need the love of Christ. Draw me nearer as my vision gets clearer. Feel undisputed heavyweight. Doing things that I can't make me want to pray every day. Lord, I need you in my life. I need the love of Christ. Draw me nearer as my vision gets clearer. Feel undisputed heavyweight.
You have stepped forward in many kinds of situations and made us all.
We can never forget the daughter of our church, the first black female to become District Superintendent Mary Brown Oliver, and many of us were there at her homegoing service. They played When the Saints Go Marching In.
We are the United Methodist Church. Open hearts, open doors, open minds, extending and giving out the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
How firm a foundation, ye saints of the Lord, is laid for your faith in his excellent word. What more can he say than to you he has said? Unto Jesus for refuge have fled. The soul that on Jesus hath leaned for repose, I will not desert to its foes. That soul, though in should endeavor to shame.
Family, it was a family thing.
I just enjoyed our programs, and I enjoyed the members, and enjoyed the congregation. I liked everything about it.
He had said, unto Jesus for refuge have fled. The soul that on Jesus hath leaned for repose, I will not desert to its foes. That soul, though in should endeavor to stay, I'll never forsake.